So now in this tutorial, in this part of the tutorial, we're going to talk about the templates. We generally create the templates in order to create the HTML files for the front end, and we usually address what's going on inside of the templates within this views.py. So right here we just return HTTP response hello world, but this is a very small HTML file in this. So we want to have separate HTML files and we want to develop the front end in there. So this message right here is not enough. So I'm going to here. So let me just keep it right over here. Let's first develop our front end inside of our templates file. So here inside of my class folder, we need to have templates, right? So instead of my class, we don't have any templates folder, so we need to create one. Okay, let's create it. So not this my class, but this one, okay, the one that is parallel to classmates. So let me create a new folder and call it templates. And inside of this, I can create a new file and call it test HTML, test front end, for example. Doesn't really matter. I can call it test.html. And in here, I can write my HTML codes. Okay, first of all, in every HTML file, we have doc type HTML. And then we have a tag called HTML right over here. HTML, and let me also close it. HTML. And then we have the body inside of it. And so we also need to close this tag. Okay, now we can have them in separate lines. Okay, just fix this, and also a separate line for ending this HTML tag over here. Okay, there we go. Now in here we can write whatever we want. So for example, I can add a tag for h1 and also close it. So here I can write hello world another time, but this time inside of our HTML file. And then I can write a p tag over here, p tag, and then I'm going to close this p tag. I can write this is my first project in Django. And okay, that's it. So we've created a file called test.html inside of our templates. So right here inside of our views.py, let me find it. It's in my classmates folder. We can remove this part and we can import our templates. So now we want to import our templates right over here. So from templates, or from Django.template, template import loader. Okay, now we want to write template, and by the way, you can just, for skipping the errors right here, I can press Ctrl+C and then it will finish, so that we won't face errors at the time that we're saving our codes and our code is not complete. So here I can write template equals to, I can write loader, so we use this loader that we have imported, dot get template. So here we want to get the template that we've created in this folder, which is called templates, and the name of it was test.html. So let's save this. Okay, and then we want to return the template. Return. So again, we will use HTTP response, and then inside of the parentheses I can write template, variable we've just defined over here, dot render. So we want to render our template, the template that we've got over here. So we want to render it inside of our views in index request, and the URL that it is going to be shown inside is the classmates. Okay, remember we've created classmates URL instead of here. So this template test.html is imported in this views and is going to be rendered inside of the URL that we have defined for this, which is inside of this. So it is the index function inside of our views.py, and this is going to render it inside of our URL. So this is how we manage between the templates and also the URLs. So when the request comes forward from the user, we will take a look at what template we've got in this function, and we'll connect all of them together. So we can create other functions, and inside of other functions, for other functions we can create another URL right over here, and then we can say, for example, views dot name of another function, and then right over here in this urls.py we can include it inside of this URL, and then we can write the name of the URL right over here. Just as simple as that. So let us save this views.py. So now in order to make our project run, we need to go to settings.py, and here inside of the installed apps we need to add another sentence. So here I can say classmates, the name of my app. So dot apps right over here, and then we have classmates with the capital letter, classmates, and right after the capital letter we write config. Right, so let's save this, and then we can now migrate our project to see what happens. So python free manage.py migrate. So let's migrate it, and as you can see everything is done and okay, and no errors. So if you see any errors, you need to probably debug your code and see what is your problem. And now I can run python free manage.py run server, and now as you can see we don't have that kind of red line error that we used to see, because the project is migrated right now. So let's follow the link inside of our browser, and here we need to go to the URL that we have created, classmates. Right, so here we can see an error. Let's see what is the problem coming from. So if you have any error for any reason, you will be able to see a kind of a result over here. So here it says template equals to loader.getTemplate test.html. So what it says is inside in line 6 index, template does not exist. So let's check our template. So the reason this happened was because I hadn't imported the name of my class. So the name of your project should also be included here apart from the name of your app. So here I've also imported my class into my installed apps inside of the settings.py file. So once I do that and I refresh the page, save the code, you will be able to see instead of the classmates URL, you will see hello world, and this is my first project in Django. So here this templates worked and it did exist. However, the code said that it doesn't exist. But the problem was that my class folder wasn't included inside of the settings.py after migration. So once you fix this, everything will be fixed afterwards and you will face no errors. So as you saw, we had no problem inside of our migration, but the problem happened when we got to the URL related to classmates, and by just importing the name of our project, it was fixed. Okay, that's it for this part, and in the next part we're going to talk about the models and how to create our database using our models.py. So here we're not going to talk about SQL. We will only write the classes related to our data, and then our SQL will be created afterwards. And so I can say from this part on, you kind of start your project, and most of the time when you want to create a project from scratch, you start with the models and then you go after views and templates and also URLs. So in the next part we're going to focus on the models.py.